to the world. Subscribe now to the Hot 97 YouTube channel. It's Ebro in the Morning with Laura Stiles and Rosenberg.
Another mass shooting happened, this time in Texas, at an elementary school. 19 children are dead and 2 adults. The shooter was an 18-year-old by the name of Salvador Ramos. He was identified right away. He was a student at a local high school. The shooter reportedly killed his grandmother first and then went to the elementary school and opened fire before barricading himself in a room, and he was killed by responding officers. According to reports, he legally bought all his weapons right after his 18th birthday. Right now, the families are still trying to identify the victims. Some have been released. One is a teacher by the name of Eva Morales, who died protecting her students. I'm sorry. I just, in doing my research, I was looking through all the news reports, and then I'm looking at all these photos of these children that are 10 years old. And I think about all the kids in my life. Xavier Lopez, 10 years old. Jose Flores, 10 years old. These children were from 8 to 12 years old. And families are still trying to identify their children. We have a sick obsession with guns in this country. And I don't know how many children, how many deaths, how many mothers, grandmothers, how many people are going to die until we finally decide to vote for stricter gun laws.
Well,
we just had this horrible shooting in Buffalo, and now I'm here reporting another one.
Well, and then you had the one in California where the man went to the church.
And what's really frustrating is that, like the point you made earlier, Laura, legally purchased. Like,
yes.
They're going on their birthday to the store. They're passing what the nonsense that exists now that you need to do. I don't even know if you do anything. Do you show your
Well, every state
license?
there's Texas, so it depends.
So Texas,
on the
it's the lightest one.
I don't know. I don't know if it's the lightest. I don't know if it's leaning more like you got to do a background. I don't know what it is.
So, but HR 8 is the law that's sitting right now. That's been sitting since 2019 for the
House
Senate.
Resolution 8 that the House has already passed. It's been there for 2 years. It's
just waiting, and they just need Senate to approve it. And all it is making it harder. It's just allowing for a greater background check.
And that's before you even deal with the fact that why can you, as an 18-year-old or anybody, buy an assault rifle? Why do you need an assault rifle?
But isn't that amazing? We're talking about not even taking that step, which that step should be a no-brainer. But we're like, no, we know that's too much for the gun lobby. We just want them to at least have to read about you before you buy the assault rifle. Could we start there? No. Can't start there even.
Just to make sure that you're a healthy human being, mentally and physically,
and that
to
term
be able
healthy
to do that.
is a sliding scale, because you could be one day, and the next day you could not be. Once again, why do you need an assault rifle that can mow down mass amounts of people in short order?
And by the way, Biden said that very specifically last night about those kinds of guns. That's where his head at is just like, I don't understand in what world you need this. It doesn't make sense. And I agree with you. I just can't believe if we can't even get the sensible gun checks done. If no one has the backbone to do that, if these Republicans aren't willing to step up and do that. And listen, I hate that it's a political issue because honestly, across the country, it's not. Most people view this the same way.
Yes.
At least sensible gun laws and restrictions.
Well, and so there's
Background
someone
checks.
listening to us right now. It's like, yo, I'm not giving up my AR-15 or my assault rifle of some kind because when they come, if I need, right?
I can't.
So, and so then you have to say to yourself, to what we're dealing with today, where we have this news of children being killed by an assault rifle by somebody who bought it legally.
Right.
You have to ask yourself, do you actually care about this incident? And the hundreds, we might be in the thousands now, of other incidents like this.
We're in the thousands.
And are you willing to make a sacrifice so that more of these incidents don't happen? Because A minute ago, Rosenberg and I were debating because I said, we don't actually care. And he was like, what do you mean, we? I care, you care. The greater we, are we going to come to terms in some way, some sort of agreement? Because that's what it takes when you're a part of a larger community, to come to an agreement together where people on both sides are going to have to make amends, make sacrifices, to make things happen because we actually care about people's lives. You know what I'm saying? And some people will say, well, guns don't kill people, people kill people. But guess what? We can't fix all the people. No. And we don't have a monitor on people when they decide it's the day that they're going to snap. Their background check might have been smooth 2 months ago. Today it wasn't. They weren't smooth today when they decided to go do what they decided to do.
And by the way, if this guy had shown up with anything from a knife to a handgun, it would have been terrible, but it would not have been this. That's just the bottom line. Because the people are going to be people. But when you have a weapon of mass destruction,
fam,
you don't even have to be like a trained person. All you have to be able to do is pull a trigger and you can kill children.
And I just don't understand the logic because I see people. That's why we need more police in schools. That's why we need more guns. This is one of the few subjects where the answer, right? Their answer is like more guns, more guns. I'm sorry. If you have high cholesterol, do you eat more bacon?
It doesn't. It's
like I just don't understand.
Well, because we're a violent nation, guys. We were built on violence. And so however people want to point at rap music, people want to point at video games. All of these things are mimicking things that were already prevalent in our society, right? These things that you're pointing to that are in some way highlighting or glorifying violence in your mind only exist because we as a nation have glorified violence.
Right. It's just a reflection.
It's a reflection of whom we are. And so until we're ready to deal with who we are, which that's going to come up later too, because there's going to be one of them shows today.
But Laura, I will say, your point is well taken of how could you legitimately say out loud the answer is to have armed guards in every school or classroom? How could anyone who has children be like, no, that's what I want. I want my child's experience in school to be standing next to an armed guard all day long.
And by the way, there are many schools and kids going to school in New York City and New Jersey right now. That is their reality.
They're already seeing
They go through a metal detector every day. And guess what? Those kids are poor. Yeah. And so nobody's waving a flag for them and crying on their behalf because you guys, you just live in a bad neighborhood and you guys must like violence. Right. And those guns are illegal.
Right.
The guns causing violence in those neighborhoods are mostly illegal.
Right. They're not being purchased at Walmart.
Today, hug your children and sending so much love to all the teachers out there.